coffee. And hot.
Wake up, America. You've got a dog that needs walking. That's right, sunshine. Just put on a big pot of strong coffee and get ready to type your little hate mail with your opinions about kumbaya and flat earth insanity. Stand-up comedy? You want stand-up comedy? Well, we've got sit-down comedy. It's time for Coffee with the Dog. You make me laugh.
Oh, yeah. It is the end of another week. That one flew by, didn't it? Or did it? Rock by. You gotta love this band. How come you don't have a band like this in your house? We threw that in there just for Ray Johnson to work there. Like today's Tom Sawyer. Oh yeah, not bad. You loopy-headed loopers. Anyway, good morning, folks. It's Friday, May 12th, 2023. Are you excited for a weekend? It is spring-like here. It's starting to feel like the season is finally upon us. Today, my guest is a stand-up comedian, a entrepreneur, a ninja, and a cricket eater. Yes, a cricket eater. Yes, he's the founder of Golden Crickets, a protein snack bar. He will be with us, I believe, at 9:15. He's scheduled. Listen, if he don't show up, I'm going to go out and just sit in the garden and eat whatever bugs I can find. That's what I'm going to do today if he doesn't show up. It could be. I've had a string of no-shows now, 2 in a row before this moment. Last night, putting together some reels or short content because I've approached a fellow named Chris James, who calls himself, in his bio, he says his name is Christopher Pranklin. His handle on Twitter is Prank Stallone, prison Prank Stallone now. He pranked Alex Jones last week, and I thought that was wonderful. I think he was using some AI software to make it sound like he was a voice changer, to make it sound like he was Tucker Carlson calling into Alex Jones' program. So I invited him on his program. He indicated that he would be willing to do it later in the week. Obviously, he hasn't been here. But in preparation and hope that he might be here next week or in the very near future, I was looking over some of the past interviews I did with one interview I did with Frank Morgallo, who's a stand-up comedian who does paid bringer shows in a casino in Connecticut, I think. It might be upstate New York, one of Foxwoods or one of those ones. But he's no, or says, here's the thing, he claims that he was a prankster who did some really crazy things. Now, one of those things was dressing up as a cop and bringing a guy who was dressed as a referee into Super Bowl 17, Miami Dolphins against the Washington Redskins, who no longer are allowed to call themselves Redskins, I guess. And they stopped the game. Now, there's no record of that. I never fact-checked it until last night. So he told 2 very wild tales. One is the Super Bowl thing that he claimed television turned off, so there's no video of it. But it was covered on radio, but also not covered in the press anywhere, apparently. No record of this. So Frank told a story about pranking the Super Bowl that only he seems to have any record or recollection of. Important point. The other story he told about a great prank was he claimed to have, uh, at a time when Idi Amin was a man without a country and everybody was looking for him, uh, pranked the press in New York City about Idi Amin coming to New York to get married to a Long Island Jewish girl. Now, if you know anything about the Uganda situation there and Idi Amin and who he was and what he was, that's absurd to begin with. But he laid out this really funny long story of a prank. Problem is, once again, it was supposed to be an Fool's prank, April Fool's Day prank. And problem again, there is absolutely no record of that. He said the U.S. State Department got involved and had him. So the interview was probably a year and a half ago now, and Frank claiming to be the great prankster. And neither one of the great pranks have any record of actually happening. Now, the last thing, and it didn't occur to me till I was actually posting this last night on YouTube, is he says it would be impossible to prank the media today. And I thought of prank Stallone, but and I said, well, that sounds like a challenge. And that in the actual clip, I said it sounds like a challenge. Not even cognizant of the fact that he was pranking me in that moment. I being the media, and he's saying it would be impossible to prank the media today, while his whole appearance, claiming to be a great prankster, was indeed a prank. I don't think any of it ever happened, or at least none of it checks out anywhere. I'm not saying Frank's a liar and he made the whole thing up. I'm saying he probably pranked me, which is kind of the same, but not the same. What do you think? I mean, it's hard for you to judge just off my words. I didn't want to import the videos here. They're kind of long. One is 3.5 minutes, the other one's almost 5 minutes, telling the stories of his great pranks in the 70s and 80s in New York City. And according to him, there were lots of other. This is what he did. He was a world class prankster. Um, but again, it's no record of it. I put probably 4 hours into trying to find some other record of it in any of the local newspapers or the Washington or Miami papers at the time for the Super Bowl stuff, or the New York Times, New York Daily News, Newsday, any of the stuff about the Idi Amin press conference. Nothing. The only reference you ever get back is Frank Megalo on this program last year. If you're doing for Idi Amin, if you search for Idi Amin April Fool's prank, one reference on the entire internet, and it was this program. Tend to think I got pranked. And the ultimate part of the prank, and congratulations, man, hats off to you for telling me it would be impossible to prank the media with a straight face, knowing full time he was pranking me. So, joke's on me. Good for Frank. Yeah, I don't mind having a joke pulled on me like that. But I am still very interested in talking to Prank Stallone, Chris, Chris James, Chris Pranklin, whatever his real name is, um, about pranking Alex Jones. I mean, come on. I that to me is the ultimate. Well, uh, who was it? Brendan Walsh and somebody else pranked Roger Stone really bad. Had him on a guest on a live stream that was a total setup. Anyway, so I appreciate that stuff. As long as nobody gets hurt, it's all cool. It's all really cool. Um, it is Friday, end of another work week. I still have not put out the ad for contributors. We are got some more people interested in the in I'm doing two things at once again. In the co-host position, which if somebody was here co-hosting could talk for a minute while I pull this stuff up. Um, but a lot of bots. For some reason, whatever mail form we're using um, seems to attract a lot of bots. I mean, they don't even have any information that is. What's the purpose of filling out a form with a bot that sends nothing? Oh, that's one thing I definitely want to read to you. Hold on a second. There is an email I got yesterday. I'm not even sure if I should call it. I mean, this is the only reason I'm reading this is because it is an extraordinary new length of scam email. Oh, boy, the lips aren't working. Nothing's working here today. Okay. So the subject says, please save me. Wow. Please save me. Help! I'm a damsel in distress. It's from Miss Susan Hernandez, custom official shorty at gmail.com. Yeah, sounds legit, right? My name is Miss Susan Hernandez from Argentina. I am 17 years old. I shouldn't even be reading this, right? I'm 17 years old now. My parents are late. You mean dead? If they're late, or are you just waiting on them? I mean, email's not the most efficient way. It's a sad joke. I'm sorry. My parents are late, and I'm the only child of my parents. That's an odd way to write things. But Argentina maybe struggling with the language, second language, whatever. My late father was a contractor who worked for many companies before he died. He sold all his properties and deposited the money to a financial institute. I mean, come on. Uh, and use my name as the next of kin. Right now, I am suffering so much. I'm living with my late father's friend who is not taking care of me at all, but they choose to punish me for no reason since they are not my biological parents. They drop me out from school and I only eat once in a day. The suffering is so much on me. Are your heartstrings just pulled to the extreme here. Today, I have contracted a financial institute where my father deposited the sum of $7,500,000 uh, to release it to me so that I can, poor girl, I can start up a new life. The financial institute insists that my late father signed on an agreement with him that I can only access the money at the age of 30 years. And 30, yeah, thanks, Dad. And they should release all the money to anyone I present to them who is above 29 years old. Really? Anyone? This guy's over 30. Give it to him. $7.5 million. Really? Please, I am begging. Uh-oh, she's begging with heavy tears on my eyes now. Begging with heavy tears on her eyes now. I want you to contact Financial Institute and tell them to release the $7.5 million to you, and you take your own percentage and send the balance to me so they can help me instead of suffering this way. Here is the contact information for the Financial Institute. You ready? Writing this down? Nile Financial Trust, which is weird, Nile Financial Trust in Argentina. My manager name is Dr. Clifford Kemma, Kemma. Email address info@nilefinancialtrust.com if you want to call them. And their phone number here says 1-202-777-0703. All you got to do, folks, if you're over 29 years old, call this number. Get to $7.5 million, take almost ever, give the girl $5 and say, that's the cut. That's my fee. Because you're special, I guess. But play it saved this Miss Susan Hernandez. I mean, let's go to a whole other level of uh scam email where you just there's some people are gonna fall for this. Old people, well, I'm an old people, right? I forgot. I always forget I'm an old people. But old people other old people, not me, will fall for this shit. And or devious people who think I am good. Oh, $7.5 million. I could rob. Yeah, I can give it. I can give it. Oh, uh, boy, oh boy, oh boy. Um, so anyway, I got to tell you about mood. I just thought that was, an interesting. I got too many things here. Too many things going on. Got to tell you about mood. Are you interested in mood? Let's go with some. Let's get some mood music. We got no mood music. The problem is there is no mood music here at all. I'm moodless. Let's see here. What's this sound like? Put that a little bit, okay? Well, I'll tell you about mood. Yeah. Let me go over. I gotta. Oh yeah, that's fine. That's fine mood music, right? That's the one I want to tell you about. Mood. Mood. Hello, mood. Mood is 100% legal. THC, baby, that's right. That's what I'm talking about. You don't need any ID or medical card at all. And they will ship it directly to your door. Very low prices, great quality stuff. Kind of stuff they have at Mood. You got smokable flower, you got edible, you got vape, you got your pre-rolls, your concentrates, and a whole bunch of other crap like you modern potheads out there using. Now, it's completely legitimate. You think, well, no, I ain't ordering. I'm telling you, I use it. I order from their online catalog of beautiful, beautiful quality merchandise there. You can pick it out based on your mood, what you want to achieve. They got moods like body soother, or a chill mood, or creative mood, or energized mood, you know what I'm saying? Or an erotic mood, if you're into that. You know what I mean when I say erotic, don't you? Yeah. All right, baby. Oh yeah, they got all sorts of stuff there, and they got stuff for like a euphoric mood, right, or a focused mood, or evening relaxation, or social. You want to get social, you just want to hang out with your friends, talk, or meet new people, be all the life of the party and all, or just a versatile mood. They got everything you need, man. And so you want to get yourself some mood, get yourself the right mood. Here's what you're gonna do: you go to hellomood.co. That's hellomood.co. You got that? Hello Mood. Oh, look at all that. Oh, that's beautiful stuff, isn't that? Hellomood.co. And when you get there, you're going to see some really low prices. As low as, prices per gram. Of course, the more you buy, the cheaper it gets. And the prices are great. The quality is first rate. I'm vouching for it personally. I have used it never more than 2 days from the time I order till the time it gets to my door. Really great product. And if you use my code, MINDDOG, MINDDOG, code MINDDOG, when you make your first purchase of anything over $100, you'll get $40 off your first purchase. So buy $101 worth of stuff, it goes down to $61, just like that, using the code MINDDOG on your first purchase. Check them out. I think you'll be happy with it. Or you can continue to go down the road and try to get there, but you don't have to leave your house and to get really good stuff. I'm telling you, folks, you're gonna love Mood. Check it out. Thank you very, very much. Let me tell this like porno band to shut the hell up over here. Porno band. Oh my God, they just don't stop over there. These kids. You know what? It's all about the fucking. It's all about the fucking. That's all it is. Hey, hey, I tell you these damn kids. Anyway, that Mood, check it out. Mood, hello Mood.co, and use the code MindDog. Looks like I'm getting blown off. I had a feeling, Cricket Boy. I don't want to say anything derogatory because he's a ninja. And last thing I need, well, maybe not. Now that I think of it, I'm listening to myself talk, and I'm saying maybe that's the way I want to go, ninja, because you never see them coming, right? It's just you're talking on the radio, and it's gone. Lights out. Tony Soprano, fade to black type of moment. Um, so maybe that is the way to go. I've been thinking a lot about uh, how to check out, how to say goodbye. But we gotta say goodbye. It's a bummer. Um, there is no easy way to die, and it's actually I was actually writing a song about mortality. uh, and kind of a comedy song, a novelty song, but this idea about 'cause my very first television show back 35 years ago was about death and dying, and I was doing interviews, man on the street interviews with people, asking them questions like, if you could choose your way to die, what would it be and why? And that's been a question that has been with me because it's interesting. Like, how? It's not being dead that I fear, and I think most people don't fear being dead. You're dead, you're dead. You don't know you're dead, you're gone. It's kind of like, but how you die. Getting hit by a bus, that's terrifying. Falling out of a plane, that's terrifying. Getting shot, maybe not so terrifying. If they do, if it's like a JFK thing, boom, boom, and it's over, maybe not. I don't think he lived very long. That's the part. The suffering. So it just occurs to me that nobody or very few people actually get to have any say in it at all. Just, and so, even you could be an agnostic, you could be an atheist, but do you believe? You can believe in, if you're going to go down the magical thinking thing, that your death and manner of death and time of death are predetermined. That we all have like a number written when we come into the world. Hey, he gets this many days. They give him that many. Yeah. It's not. I'm not saying I believe in that. I'm getting all stuffy. It's not out of the realm of people singing, and it doesn't necessarily have to be included in religious thinking. Excuse me 1 second. Getting all stuffed up here because it's hay fever time. Somebody said to me yesterday, uh the lady who's arranging my endoscopy, who I should really call and officially chicken out. um She asked if I was allergic to anything. I just said hay fever. She said, "You must be suffering." And I wasn't, but I'm sure I will be now that you've mentioned to me that I should be suffering. If I'm not aware I should be suffering, I'm fine. You know what I'm saying? I think you know what I'm saying. Maybe I will play. Since Frank Magallo, not Eli Halpern, who is supposed to be the guest here, seems to be standing me up. Um, I don't want to say anything bad about him. Again, he's a ninja, and I don't want to get ninja. This is just I'm not ready to die. If I were ready to die, I'd be bad mouthing Mr. Ninja for not showing. But I don't want to get ninja because you do never see it coming. Um, yeah, no response at all. He's the CEO and founder of Golden Cricket. He's a comedian, musician, martial artist. Yeah, martial artist. Uh, he means ninja, a sneak up on you kind of guy. What's going on in the chat rooms? There are people in different chat rooms. Different chat rooms. We got like 5 different chat rooms going on. AW, good morning, AW in YouTube chat room. What's the worst car trouble you ever had, dog? Well, that's a good question. What's the worst car trouble I've ever had? Well, it wasn't my car. I wasn't driving. I got to think about this. This is not necessarily the worst, but this is the oddest one that comes to mind. Um, on a February night in 1978, the Great South Bay was, as it usually is, frozen over, pretty thick, and um, we were a little drunk, a little high, and my friend Steve drove his 1961 Nash Rambler down to the boat ramps to look at the ice, and then he turned to me and he said, "What do you think? Should I go for it?" I said, "What do you mean, go for it?" And before I know it, he had driven out onto the ice. Emerson, Lake and Palmer playing on the 8-track. the It wasn't a built-in 8-track. It was a portable 8-track that got we mounted into the 1961 Nash Rambler. Um, and he goes, "Isn't this cool?" I was like, "No, it's not really cool. We should get off the ice, man." And he goes, "Well, let's get out and take a look." Well, he wants to look at his car parked on what used to be the Great South Bay and will be again the Great South Bay. And I'm nervous as hell. And we get out of the car and look at the car, and he's all excited, "Oh, laughing." And I'm like, "I don't think this is a good idea. We ought to get out of here." And we go to get back in the car, and as soon as we close the doors, we heard the ice break, and the car started to take on water and kind of ice cold water, mind you, ice cold bay water, and flip on its side. He was kind of stuck on the side going down, and my side was going up. So I opened the door and jumped out onto the ice, and then he was going the wrong way, and so I told him, "No, climb out the passenger door." He jumped, and he got to the ice, but almost broke through again. And the car, headlights on, music blaring, Emerson, Lake and Palmer, sunk below the ice, and the headlights remained on for, uh, I believe, probably 8 hours or so, or something like that. I don't know how that happens. Under salt water, freezing cold soft water, the lights remained on. How the electric did not short out or whatever. Um, Kind of the sound system, the Emerson, Lake and Palmer was working until the water hit the speakers, and then so we walked to his parents' house. I believe his parents were away somewhere, and we called the police, and they came and basically, looked over the situation, had this arranged for a barge and scuba divers and all this stuff to get the car out of would have been a main boating lane. Um, so that story is sticks out as me as one of the worst car troubles. I mean, other than that, I've never really had that bad, issue. Well, I've had cars under complete floods. Lost a house and 2 cars to a complete flood, the perfect storm. But that's not, I don't think that's like mechanical car trouble or any of that kind of stuff. Uh, I don't know, not a whole lot of. I did burn out other people's car. There was back in the day. I'm sorry to get on this now. See, ask me a question, I'll fucking talk forever. Um, back in the day, the old famous phrase. Let me get a little coffee here. They had a service. Well, in the classified ads, drive my car. People who are moving coast to coast or halfway across the country will hire. They would move their furniture with a moving van and then fly to their destination. But they needed somebody to drive their car across country. And the idea was, drive my car, you pay gas and tolls, and you get a free trip one way from New York to California or from California to Florida or wherever you're going. You have to hook up with the right people. And we did this a couple of times, going across the country from New York to LA and LA to back to New York and that kind of thing. And it was a Honda Civic. It was, again, like 1977 or something now. Um, and I wasn't all that cool with, you know, 5 speeds at the time. Everything I was driving was an automatic. I was a little heavy-footed on the clutch. And so somewhere, not somewhere, actually, Plainfield, Indiana, going up a hill, and it was in third gear, and just automatic, just started slowing down, like, and having no traction at all. And it turns out I burnt the clutch pretty badly. The clutch was burnt out. The car was supposed to be going from New York to San Jose, California, uh, but we left it in Plainfield. So the guy who owned the car moved from New York to San Jose, California, and we have to call him up and say, "Listen, your car's dead." Oh, really? Where? Oh, that's terrible. Where is it? Well, it's in Plainfield, Indiana. Sorry about that. We're just gonna leave it here and get another one. And it's up to you to come and get your car. That's not that's probably why that kind of service didn't last that long. Uh, I guess you know what? There's so much I can do with this time. I might just call it a day here. It doesn't look like I've reached out to him twice already now. I should pay another commercial and reach out one more time. Reach out to Eli Halpern twice now. Um, I don't know what happened. We were on such a roll with getting people to show up, and then 3 in a row now. Well, three's the perfect number, right? And then things happen in threes, and then they won't happen again. This is what I'm hoping for. It's a drag when people make arrangements to be the guest and show up and don't do it. And sometimes people don't um, understand all that goes into it. It's not, and I know most people probably think, well, it's easy, I'll just put my name on the list, and it's not like an open mic. It's not I just put your name on the list. I have to go to YouTube. First I have to go to the app StreamYard that we use. A little ring there. StreamYard, and set up this stuff. I have to create graphics for it. For each and every destination has to have a different kind of titling or description rules and all that stuff. And lots of work goes into that, embedding it, and then getting the word out and setting events and all that stuff. It's work to get people to know about you and what you're doing. I mean, that is disrespectful, but I think a lot of people don't understand that. They think it's as easy as just putting their name on a list, and if I call you, you're on, and if I don't, I'm just going to sit here and talk about car trouble I might have had, or emails I got from stranded damsels in distress who have $7.5 million that I could just take because I'm over 29 years old. I just call up and they'll give it to me. But I feel blessed that she wrote to me. You know, uh, it's she could have picked anybody, but you picked me. But I gave that information to you. Now that's first come, first serve. You want to call that number, folks? I mean, I don't really need $7.5 million. I really don't. I mean, you want to give me a little, finder's fee. You want to send me, I don't know, send me a thousand, and we'll, as a finder's fee when you get the money. That's cool. I think that's fair. It's not. I don't really need 1,000 either, but I think it's just fair for being so generous. Because listen, she picked me. She did not pick you. Unless that bitch is two-timing me. If she's writing to other guys, she's dead to me. She's fucking dead to me. And I know she's had a lot of trouble. Like everybody in her family died. Sorry, kid. It happens sometimes. Hey, listen, everybody in my family died. If I'm honest, I got my brother left. And he's hanging on by a thread. He's got stage 4 cancer. So yeah. And I don't have 7.5 million just waiting for some 29-year-old to come and walk into the bank and get it for me. What is John saying? The problem with luchador cricket salesman these days? Luchador? Troubadour? What troubadour? Or luchador? I don't know what that word means. Maybe I'm illiterate. Oh, there's bad news. What's the bad news in the world? You want to talk about bad news? Bad news, Mother's Day. I didn't get anything for it, my wife or my ex-wife. The guest that bailed as a profile picture, yes, I'm sorry. I forgot about it. I don't know if that's truly him, the guest that bailed, by the way. There was almost nothing about him. I'll tell you where he came into this, and this is why he shouldn't be bailing, because he came to me through Podmatch, a service that people go to find recommended podcasts. They put in a request form. They have to get confirmed. Choose a date. Podmatch, the service, sends them reminders as well as me sending them reminders. So, and they get rated on this stuff, so it hurts their status if they don't show up. If I don't verify that he has shown up for this program, it kind of knocks him down, and people will be. But I'm the one to discover it. I am the guy who has to learn it the hard way. But so Mother's Day is here. I'm all over the fucking map, aren't I? And I don't have any. So I got to get on the Amazon Prime thing. What can you get me? Can I get flowers by your mother by Sunday? So there's that. Now, YouTuber agrees to plead guilty to federal charge after intentionally crashing his plane for views. The Department of Justice put out. Now, this guy was in California, but here's the thing. Now, because I don't know if you remember, but about 2 months ago, or so, somewhere in that range, I think, there was a guy who crashed his plane on my beach, and there were cameras there that seemed to capture. And generally, there's nobody down on that beach. It's a private beach, and there were 2 different or 3 different angles that seemed to capture the footage perfectly. Like, how do you know? They had the camera out because it was a long shot. And like, yeah, how do you know this guy's coming down to crash on your beach? Why has everybody got their camera out steady, pointing in a direction the plane's coming from to get the most cinematic look on this plane crashing on my beach? And I speculated that maybe this might be just a publicity stunt. It seemed too planned. to have people having cameras steady mounted, pointed at the perfect direction to have a 3-camera shoot on this guy. Now, nobody ever followed up on that. Nobody ever followed up on that at all. But it seems interesting to me now that this guy did it for video views. And how much how many views do you have to get to pay for a private plane that you crashed on there? So I'm thinking maybe our guy was too, because we had a couple of days in a row, people landing on the beach, like, and their planes didn't seem to get all that wrecked. But here's the part where it gets interesting for me now. Apparently, this is against the law, and this guy's going to go to jail. He's pleading guilty. Isn't this what Hollywood does all the time? The guy didn't get hurt. Nobody got hurt. He might be, in violation of getting a permit and all this stuff. But what's the difference between him doing that and a filmmaker doing that? Because filmmakers do that shit all the time, right? Listen, Alec Baldwin playing with fake guns that weren't so fake, walks away, right? Or he's not charged. This guy's going to get charged and go to jail for crashing his own plane, which it cleaned up and you know didn't hurt anybody. Now, I'm not saying we should be letting people just crash planes wherever the fuck they want. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, what's the difference here? Different rules for if you're rich and have a studio. If you got billions of dollars and have a studio, it's okay. If you're a regular person, no, you get arrested for it. That's not right. That's anti-art. And again, if that were the case forever, Charlie Chaplin, Buster Crabbe, all those uh, great early movies, those stunts were real. Those guys weren't using blue screens and green screens. They were doing things that were, destructive of their own property sometimes, taking wild risks with their own lives. Sometimes people did get hurt, but it was generally the stars that got hurt. And if in this one, I don't know. I feel like once again, it fucking the little man. It's fucking the little man. If you're a billionaire, and the guy should have listen. You check this shit out beforehand, right? Or not? Do you? I mean, if you're doing it, do you want to get a permit? Or probably couldn't get a permit. It would stall the thing. I don't know. See, as long as nobody else got hurt and nobody else was in danger of getting hurt, like you didn't just take unnecessary, careless risks. I think maybe a fine for not getting the proper permit work and all that stuff, but jail time, no way. That's about all. I'm interested in this fucking news stuff. I'll tell you what. Tornadoes and earthquakes. Interested in that. Northern California had an earthquake that lasted for 10 seconds, and over a dozen tornadoes hit the heartland, and more forecasts. It's going to be a big tornado season. And then all the politics and bullshit and fuck that up. Politics and bullshit and fuck that. Politics and bullshit and fuck that. Anyway, so I will go put this time to good use. This has been a very strange week. A very, very strange week. Long shows and then no shows. Maybe it was maybe it was the Jackie thing that put the whole the hex. Man, I am shot today. By the way, Mood. You got to go to Mood, hellomood.co, and use the promo code MindDog. This is why I'm like this. I tell you, vouching for the product. This is a product I can get behind, and it can get behind me. and we can be in front and beside each other, me and the product, that is, in front and back and all around. Anyway, that's gonna be my shitty little show for today. Yes. Here's the thing with the guy who called my podcast the shitty podcast. Have you watched? Because you have to watch to call it shitty. Now, mm, here's because if you just watch it once, you can say maybe I had a bad show. So you have to watch it at least 2 or 3 times to be fair to judge it as shitty. And if you want to do that, that's fine. But now, why are you watching a show when it's so shitty for 3 times? I don't think honestly, I don't think the person who called my podcast shitty ever watched any. But listen, if I might say that if I were a viewer or a listener, um, and I got something like this where a guy was complaining about a no show. Wait, you know how many fucking podcasts there are? Nobody else has all these fucking kind of no shows. But listen, nobody else is doing as many live, and they don't publish it once it's live. Fuck that. Oh, I'm not signing off yet, have I? A little more coffee. I'm giggling on a Friday morning by myself. Do you care? Ah, so yeah, where was I? Oh yeah, the other podcast, and they're doing it live yesterday in one of the podcast groups. God, these people get so fucking concerned about what other people are doing. Like they're laying down rules for successful podcasters, and everybody's on this fucking soapbox and bragging about their own success and telling other people what they're doing wrong or what they should never be doing. And it's like, you do yours. There's no fucking rules here. That's the beauty of this stuff. What? And everybody's on a soapbox. Everybody's on a soapbox about, and I break apparently every one of the rules. Every one of the rules because I walk on a wire. It's spontaneous. I don't pre-interview guests. I like it to be spontaneous. Now, I'll be honest. I talked to Robert Klein a lot before he was on the program, but that was his choice, not mine. And I was going to accommodate him, but generally, um, I'm not talking. Jackie, I talk to all the time anyway. I mean, text back and forth. But the first time he was on the program, I didn't talk to him before that. It was spontaneous. It just so happened we became friends pretty quickly, and I guess he's more lonely than me or something. Well, we text back and forth a lot, but for the most part, meeting somebody and interviewing, it's generally fresh the first time. Now, you know, if things happen in this communication in between that will happen. But so that's one rule I break. Don't edit unless there's something really atrocious, or like for things weren't working, bandwidth wasn't working, audio capped out, any of that stuff. I will do some minor editing, but generally not for content. Generally not because I said something I shouldn't have said. I should do some more editing on that, but all the warts and all the blemishes are out there. I like working without a net or Frankie. Uh, but, and so people tell me everything I'm doing wrong, but I don't care. There's no rules here. I don't have to live by your rules. First of all, the reason that this appeals to me so much is it has no rules. I'm a no rules type of guy. I've never been good at, staying in the line and being told what I can and can't do. I'm a rebel without a show, a rebel without a cause. So, um, I don't know why I brought that up. Something about podcasting, the rules and all. Oh, my shitty podcast. That's why. Um, Listen, if you like it, please tell your friends about it. Please get the app. If you don't like it, there's plenty of music on my radio. Get the app for that. And if you don't like it, don't watch. I'm not for you. Listen, I get it when there's no guests here and it's only me. That's why I'm getting a co-host and having contributors and having people. So even when the guest doesn't show up, in the event that somebody doesn't show up, we could still do something mildly entertaining, except sit here and talk about what's going on inside my empty head. Especially after a night of gummies. Just one, by the way. One fucking gummy will kick your ass. Mood. Do it. Mood.co. Use the promo code MINDDOG. If you spend over $100 on your first visit, you will get $40 back. Boom. From me. Well, it's from them, but in my name. How about that? You're not in the mood? Get in the mood. I'm in the mood. Well, you know what? I'm not going to end with, just for that. I'm not ending with turn on your radio. I'm going to end with maybe The Only Lonely Boy in New York City. That's a good way to end. I don't think that's on the playlist on the radio. Listen, that's my show. What are you going to do? Call it a shitty podcast? Go ahead. Go ahead. You think that's how you want to hurt me? Why do you hurt me, Michael? Haven't I always been loyal to you? This is getting old. Listen, I'll see you Monday, maybe. Or check me out on Substack over the weekend. I might be doing something, including putting a live stream, embedding a live stream over there. And it's free. I'm not charging on a Substack. It's just a different YM after 2 weeks when things get on. But it's a pennies, man. It's whatever you do to buy me a coffee type of stuff. And it's free for 2 weeks. The first 2 weeks, all the stuff I'm doing there. But I am doing some different stuff over there. Not this. Not where I don't have a guest. I have a guest scheduled who doesn't show up. And then I'm going to go out into the garden and just eat all the bugs I can find in honor of today's show. That's not what I'm doing, though, on Substack. Anyway, here's what I am doing.
Waiting is the hardest thing to do. You want love and you want it now, but someone gonna have to explain it to you to get it through your silly head somehow. I know you think you heard it all before, but you better listen to me when I say not the only lonely boy in New York City who happens to feel that way. You're not the only lonely boy in New York City. And you down, waiting for the man to come. Candy's gonna make you dumb. You don't wanna feel a thing. You got to move when moving is the only thing to do. No one's gonna stop you now, and I don't have the time to explain it to you, 'cause I know you got it all figured out. And you think you heard it all before, but you better listen to me when I say you're not the only lonely boy in New York City. We've all got a price to pay. You're not the only lonely boy in New York City.
get you down, down, down.
Waiting for the light to change. Candy's gonna kill the pain, and you don't wanna feel a thing. Don't wanna hear about it. Don't wanna think about it. Think you heard it all before, but you better listen to me when I say